There we go. Alright, good evening ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back for another Wave Gamers Guild night. We are of course playing our esteemed King of the Hill tournament, and we have got the reigning King Cenarius, who's actually narrowing in on winning the entire tournament right now with 8 points, and he's going up against new challenger Ocean. I'm adminning, so I'm going to be kicking the game off right now. I'm just going to put some music on while we load in, and then we'll get on with the cast in the draft. See you guys then. And my Dota crashes. Well, that's just perfect. We will be getting straight back to the cast in just a moment. Let me just go tell the teams what's going on. Well, actually, they can sit in anticipation. I'll be in a second. Maybe something about the Slark loading screen, just too OP for the client. Who knows? And there we go.
Dyer's ban. Radiant team ban.
Alright, good evening ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back. We are here with King of the Hill match 31, I believe. We are narrowing in on the end of the tournament with Cenarius leading the way at 8 points. And remember, it's only 10 required to win. And going up against him, we have relatively new challenger EYK, who's going by the name Ocean Sama for the purposes of this game today. And I'm just going to jump in my casting channel to be joined by Will, who's going to be my co-caster, and Davide, who's running stats.
Channel switch.
Hey guys, I just realized I introduced you with you actually being here, but you have just been introduced. Say hello.
Hello.
So, oh yeah, of course, and David is sick, that's why he's not talking, but I'm sure he'll give us a pop-up to say hello as soon as he can. But yeah, Will, what do you think of those first few bans? You've been out of the metagame for a little while, so some of the things might surprise you.
Quite a long time, yeah. So Storm Spirit is a little bit surprising. I see the Sniper ban. I'm not super surprised by that one.
Dyer's
and I like to play Tinker, so it makes sense to me.
I think
that's all that jumps out.
I think what we're seeing with the Tinker and the Storm Spirit, they are fairly strong. They're not the biggest in the metagame right now, but quite a lot of the time in the King of the Hill, they kind of throw the metagame out of the window and you start seeing people really target ban players on the enemy team. And those are two really big ones at iTrueGods. Tinker not so much. March of the Machine's not doing damage to towers anymore. That might have been a big change if you haven't been on. So he's not quite the deadly split pusher that he used to be.
Right.
But yeah, True can reel in the kills with him. Shadow Shaman also not picked up a huge amount, but Lion, like one of the biggest heroes in the Asian Championships, which came a little while ago, just horrendous support. Vengeance Juggernaut also quite common. But what do you think of the picks?
So Juggernaut is my favorite character, so I like it. I don't know who is going to be playing carry on him, but I think he's going to go for some really early kills with that. That's how I like to play him. I don't know how he's going to lane. I don't know how well is Juggernaut laying against Shadow Shaman right now.
I would say, that's actually an interesting one. I suppose. I mean,
It
it
has
really
that
depends on how
lockdown.
well he can
Yeah.
use the Blade Fury.
Right.
I would
10
anticipate
seconds to
Juggernaut's
go.
going to be on the safe lane, and so
Right.
is Shadow Shaman on the opposite lane,
5
because I haven't seen
seconds.
very many aggro tri-lanes with a Shadow Shaman in the support
User
role. It
joined
could
your
happen, though.
channel.
Lion's a great one to back it up.
Radiant team
Um,
Right.
ban.
And we
but
haven't
yeah,
seen any carry picks come up from Dire either yet.
yeah, it'll be interesting to see what comes out from EYK. He's very, very new to this. Tuned in on Twitch, said he wanted to come along a couple of weeks ago,
10
and has just turned up
seconds
for the
to
challenge.
go.
What I'm quite
Nice.
interested in, though, if you're a big fan of Juggernaut, is how do you
5
build him? Because there's a lot of
seconds.
different builds going around these days. People
Mhm.
getting stats, people maxing the healing ward, people maxing the crit.
Reserve
Mhm.
time.
So the way I used to build him, and everything I'm gonna do is gonna be in the use 2 tents, but
Sure.
it's quite a bit of so I would always go actually really early on. So you go Bladestorm stats, and almost get boots immediately, and then you go for that really early
10
Bladestorm kill because it's so
seconds to
good
go.
in the early game.
Hmm.
And then you you rush that build, and then you go quickly into phase boots as fast as you
Dyer's
can, with your 5th pick being the critical hit.
Hmm.
And you go for a lot of those. It's almost called like a first blood build because you want to go straight for the first blood. Is how you build into it. But it's also a very kind of aggressive, dangerous playstyle. So it doesn't always work out that way, but it worked for me pretty well. Yeah.
Yeah, and as I say, he's definitely played that way among a couple of others. There's no like
Mhm.
out of the
10
meta game
seconds
Juggernaut
to
style
go.
at the moment, really. It's interesting though. It's definitely more of a
5
because some people use
seconds.
Juggernaut more for the early game. You know, maxing the
Mhm.
healing ward, going for a bunch of summons like a Lycan or a Treant,
Reserve
and just using him to
time.
push down the lane. Going for the aggressive like stats, Blade Fury, especially if you're trying to
Mhm.
rack up the early kills. That's
Right.
a late game. That's a late game one. That's kind of scary.
Oh, absolutely scary. And I'm curious to see who's gonna come up with his 3rd pick for the Dire now, because it's time to start getting into like the mid and the carry heroes, and I want to see if it's gonna turn into a late game or more of an early game type of draft. It's looking early game because we see the anti-mage banned out, we see the Ember Spirit and the Invoker banned out.
It's going to be interesting to see who they grab for their calls.
Mhm.
A lot of, also a lot of the kind of standard heroes for people are being taken out here. Like the Lina, often like for me, still naturally a support choice, but increasingly going up to being played more and more as a carry these days. And I know True loves it, and that's yet another True target ban.
Right.
He's getting a lot of that these days, apparently.
We get a lot of respect bans these days.
David, I'm gonna mute your mic, bro. No
You're doing
offense.
quite a lot.
I'm sure he'll be fine. He can still hear us. He can still do stats. Apparently, they're not working in the draft, but we'll have him for the game. And there we go. Like
Tide Hunter.
Radiant
EYK
win.
going for the Tide. I'll never complain about a Tide. Like, doesn't even matter what the metagame is. He's good for. He's a great laner. For an off laner, he can just survive, which is great. It's all you need. And that Ravage, man. That Ravage.
Do you think we're gonna see a tri lane
come
out from the Dire?
Definitely. I'm pretty sure that'll be a defensive tri lane for them. Tide is just so good in the solo off lane, particularly against melee carries because he can
10
reduce their damage and
seconds
prevent
to
them from
go.
getting last hits that way.
Absolutely.
5
I am
seconds.
kind of interested in what Radiant pick up for their second support because Venge is great and all, and you know the damage aura
Reserve
for your carry
time.
late game is always good. Yada yada yada. But for me, for her to be useful early game, she's really got to be put with the right support. Because if they want to do roaming ganks, it's got to be someone with a long range stun. Because she's great, but she's really bad being the first person going in. They need like an. I want to say Earthshaker, but I always say Earthshaker, and it would leave them very low on range.
And from the limited games I played something back, Earthshaker just is never a bad pick.
I think so. Yeah, he's great.
Can't go wrong.
He's just great. Also combos quite well with the Juggernaut. It's kind of the same style you were saying when you're going for that first blood with the Blade Fury, being able to lock someone in position with Fissure.
Oh yeah, Fissure is just invaluable. We got a Wind Ranger, so sort of a long range stun with the Wind Ranger.
Yeah, that could be a core ranger. She's one of those heroes, you know. It could be an off-lane Wind Ranger. It could even be a mid-Wind Ranger. I know.
Yeah, absolutely.
She's one of the heroes that I think True doesn't always like going up mid against. And I certainly don't. She's she's not played mid often enough, I should say, for me to have a good
10
measure of her yet.
seconds
She
to
still just
go.
seems to just turn up very rarely and then just wreck whenever she does.
5
Right.
seconds.
I don't see her a lot in the games I've played so far,
Mhm.
but
Reserve time.
when I do see her, she's one of those heroes that can do a little bit of everything. She's a very much utility hero. Who can move back and forth. She can gank. She can support. She can mid. She can do a little bit of everything. So.
And one of the things which I
She's a-
suppose has to be mentioned is it is whatever position Windranger is in, it is a great combination with Vengeful Spirit, because when Windranger uses Focus Fire, gets that max attack speed, the only thing she needs to help her out is damage, and of course Venge can just go stand next to her,
Dish
and
out
suddenly
tons of
you're
damage,
taking down a
right.
tower in 5 seconds flat.
Yep, absolutely agree.
The Gyrocopter pickup is interesting, mainly because this is what you get when new people come in and challenge. I love it. Like, Gyrocopter has not been picked possibly this entire season on King of the Hill. I might be wrong about that. I'm not sure.
Okay.
But, like,
Interesting.
definitely,
10 seconds to
you know,
go.
not someone who's a new person pick. And then
5
that's not to say a bad
seconds.
pick. Quite often, we're overlooking something and it ends up wrecking. And I hope we see that. Gyro is great.
Reserve time.
Yeah, absolutely. I love playing Gyrocopter. He's one of my favorite mid heroes. Just because he has so much ability to dominate with last hits. And can quickly for team fighting especially. So you've got the Tide Hunter AOE, you've got the AOE from the Gyrocopter, you've got tons of lockdown coming from Lion and Shadow Shaman. Very team fight heavy, very ability heavy on the Dire side right now.
Absolutely. It's also, if they choose to lane him on the safe lane, it can be a great
Mhm.
combo with the Shadow Shaman. Because it's
Yeah,
a question
absolutely.
of whoever gets out of position. If they can be isolated from the creeps,
Mhm.
that is the easiest flat cannon in the world for Gyro. Is it flat
Oh,
cannon
yeah,
or rocket
absolutely.
barrage? I can never remember which one does which. Rocket barrage, I think.
Rocket Barrage is the one that does the isolated from away from creeps is Rocket Barrage.
Mhm.
With creeps is Flat Cannon.
Well,
Dire
Shadow Shaman
Tamer
rocket barrage.
Sand.
Then that's going to be great.
Mhm.
I mean, you've also got the Lion, obviously, another master of lockdown, but
Oh yeah, absolutely.
that's going to be painful. So we are going to see a core Wind Ranger for Radiant because that's a Sand King pickup for them. Smart,
Mhm.
because Sand King is great on Radiant. There's so many you can
10
do.
seconds to
You can
go.
triple chain, pull the creep wave, get it right into the large camps, stack them
Radiant's
easily, be
banned.
very close to the lane,
Mhm.
and still be stacking the camps. It does leave their safe lane with very limited range. They've got Juggernaut, Vengeful Spirit, who doesn't have great range, and
Mhm.
then the Sand King, who's A melee and B going to be in the jungle an awful lot of the time.
10
Right.
seconds
Absolutely.
to
And
go.
Vengeful has a little bit of range with her
5
magic missile,
seconds.
but not enough
Sure,
to slow to get the Juggernaut lots of kills they need.
Mm.
It's really crucial to have a big like Lich Juggernaut is a great combo
Dire's
for
pick.
that lane, or anybody who has a slow for that lane,
Mhm.
because they can lock that person in place. Juggernaut can just use his higher speed to get that easy kill.
Mm.
But Sand King's also a good blocker, so it could work out that way.
It's going to be tricky, I think. Like, honestly, if I was looking for a support to go into a Juggernaut Vengeful Sand King tri-lane, I honestly might pick Tide, just straight off the bat. He can, Kraken Shell will help him purge the
10
anti-armor coming out of
seconds to
Vengeful's
go.
Wave of Terror, which is
Right.
one of the main reasons she's picked up for the early game.
Radiant's pick.
Everybody low on range, so that it's going to be very easy to land Anchor Smash on multiple heroes, multiple times.
Right.
I'm not saying he'll get kills, but I think he'll do a fair job of shutting down Juggernaut's farm and farming up his own Blink.
Yeah, absolutely. And we have an OD coming out as a final pick, so looks like definitely gonna be a Tide Hunter off lane then with the OD mid
Mhm.
and Gyrocopter, Shadow Shaman,
10
Lion
seconds
tri
to
lane.
go.
We'll
No,
see who comes. Go ahead.
I gotta say, I
5
like the OD.
seconds.
I really do. Because I was saying, Wind Ranger can be really troublesome, and of course, Power Shot. If you keep
Reserve
getting hit by Power
time.
Shot, you're gonna be struggling mid regardless.
Right.
But OD can set the into the Wind Ranger, constantly keep her on low damage, constantly
10
keep her unable to
seconds to go.
cast her spells. I think what's going to decide the mid there really is going to
5
be which team has better
seconds.
rune control, because Wind Ranger and
Yeah.
OD both very bottle dependent mids.
Absolutely. Oh, and a Viper pickup.
Interesting.
So we might see a Viper mid.
I think it is, and the Wind Ranger switching over to the off lane in response to that last pickup.
Mhm.
And Vikingos
Yeah.
against True on the mid, that is a real treat.
We have
Those are
OD,
two
yeah.
two very good players. Vikingos actually a
Excellent.
support player generally, and True generally plays the mid, so that gives True a bit of an edge, perhaps. But
Possibly.
I think MMR Vikingos has the lead, and Viper, much as I love Viper and say there's deep complexity to it,
Mhm.
he's not the most complex hero in the book. So yeah, I can see this going pretty well.
Absolutely, absolutely going well. So let's go ahead and see.
I'd get
Do you
ready
want
if I
to
were
introduce? Do you like to introduce both teams?
Sure, I'll introduce Radiant. Kick us off. We've got Cenarius taking the Juggernaut down on bot lane, captain position 1. That's the leading from the front strategy. Vengeful Spirit going to be played by Gothic, aka Victor. The Wind Ranger going to be played by 1411, aka Beauty. I know what all these guys' actual names are, and it's annoying when they don't use their names. If you're watching this cast and you ever playing King of the Hill, use your goddamn name. Anyway, excuse me. Viper going to be played by Vikingos. Thank you for using your actual name. And finally, Sandking going to be played by Conewolf of the Waves Riptide team.
Perfect.
Now just hold one on introducing the die because it does look like we're going to have a little bit of action here.
Possibly have an engagement with the Juggernaut down bot. I think
EYK
you saw
scouting him out a little bit here,
30
I think
seconds
moving in.
to battle.
Mm-hmm.
but it looks like Jug's going to be backing off. He spotted it out. He's very well aware that there's more likely going to be more than just a Juggernaut.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So let's see if they push. Oh, they got this Sentry Ward to block this lower camp here for the pools. So that's smart. They might get
It is.
dewarded though, depending on how quickly they're gonna do this up. So what we'll do is I'll introduce these guys quick. So EY Ocean playing the gyrocopter,
Let's get this
assumably
farce
going with
over
that
with.
tri-lane. Digital Unicorn is on the Lion, going bottom of the tri-lane as well, along with, I'm gonna say this wrong, is it Haha Hallam on the Shadow?
You can call him
Shaman?
Haha.
Haha, okay, Haha.
He
the
wants it
Shadow
pronounced
Shaman.
Howloon, but I've never understood how it's supposed to be pronounced Howloon.
Gotcha.
But call him
gotcha.
Haha, it's fine.
Okay, Howloon
Oh wow,
slash-
we missed first
Oh,
blood.
wow, first blood. All right.
Irock
First
Tidehunter.
blood.
Taken
Right off the
down.
bat, 14 Beauty got that. Oh, sorry. And then top we have Tidehunter who's still sitting at the base and finally going to TP out. But everybody's finally in position now. So.
Yeah, and I'm keeping an eye on this mid. I think this is going to be where the real action takes place.
Where the action's at.
But it is interestingly that we got to note we do have the aggressive tri-lane coming out from EYK, even though it's a Shadow Shaman, even though I was saying this isn't really a hero you like going aggro tri with. They want to try and get that Shackle Rocket combo down on the Juggernaut rather than anyone else. And I got to say, you know, Jug's great because he's got this beautiful magic immunity to keep him safe in the lane. But if you're already shackled, you can't pop it. And if you're shackled and you're taking that damage, there's not a huge amount Jug can do.
There's not a lot you can do to get away from that. Yeah.
Do we have? Yeah, we do. Is that not dewarded? Oh my gosh, that is the closest.
On the edge of one another. Yeah.
That is the closest ward I've ever seen. If you scroll down, it actually looks like it's in it. But if you scroll up to right on top of it, it's not. Holy moly. Well, that's really going to mess with the Radiant tri-lane.
Incredibly close. Oh, absolutely.
Because they really need to be getting pulls off here. Cenarius has missed... Has he got... He's just got his first last hit. And this is not good for a Juggernaut. He needs to be dominating his lane. The only other hero they've got, you know, scaling arguably, getting the benefit of a decent lane right now is Tidehunter. And that's not really where you want to be. True God also taking a huge amount of harass for from Vikingos on the mid. And OD, to be honest, not a great hero, in my opinion, to be laning against Viper. Can do okay, but Viper excels at the really, really early game. And OD excels once he's got a little bit. Once he's got a bit of space, once he's got a few. So it's really the point at which you can put your Arcane Orb on autocast and just fire it off at everyone all the time. And to me, that's 4 points in Essence Aura. You're talking level 6 or 7 a lot of the time before you can, I think, really start not worrying about having Viper just get you low and finish you off.
Absolutely, yeah. OD has to get around level 7 is when he starts getting really effective, so he can really take advantage of that Arcane Orb, and honestly start roaming. And Viper can take advantage of much earlier, and he kind of is here. He's being very, very aggressive with his harasses, getting drained on mana in the meantime. But
that's not the biggest deal for a Viper.
No, absolutely not.
It would have been for the Wind Ranger. I think the OD was a good pick. Poison me now, says True. Not entirely sure what gives him the confidence that it's not going to happen.
I think he drained all of his
mana,
he's trash talking a little bit. Yeah,
oh right, wow. Look at that mana pool. 26 max mana for Vikingos' Viper. Oh dear.
Absolutely. Lots of pings going on bottom here. It looks like is that another ward sort of close? Like no D wards yet, but they're all kind of playing it very, very close with these.
Yeah.
A little bit funny.
The Dire Sentry is going to expire fairly soon, so assuming that this Radiant one hasn't blocked that camp as well, which it may have done actually, then Radiant should be able to start getting some pulls off and hopefully having a bit more of a safe lane. Because at the moment, this is a nightmare for Jug. 6 for 2. Gyrocopter sitting at 13 and 3 on the off lane.
Oh yeah, Juggernaut's having a bad day in this lane. He can't really push in close enough because of the threat of the flat cannon and the lockdown from the shaman. Because he's picked up both shackles and hex right away. So all of his lockdown ability going into that, and then the Lion's kind of just hanging out in the jungle, scouting runes and doing things over there, just to keep them freaked out, I think.
Of course, the downside of this, I suppose, for the Dire is that Windranger is, as an off-laner, is going to have effectively free farm up top against Irok's Tidehunter. Like, I don't know if she's going to get kills unless Irok gets massively out of position. Are we going to see Slasher's build? Or Slasher's build, possibly. Null, Phase, Ags, Daedalus. It does look like we're going that way, with the Phase maybe before the Ags, before the Null, rather. And I don't think that's a bad choice up against this Tidehunter. Just helps her. It capitalizes on the fact that she can force him out of lane and makes him even more able to force him out of lane. Nice power shot there as well.
Absolutely. A good power shot, yeah. And there goes the Phase Boots first item.
Nice. What do you think of her choice to go for the 2 blades of attack first rather than the brown boots?
I was looking at that. It was interesting. I think she did it either to get more harass damage off or to get more last hits off, because if you look, she's leading the game in last hits right now. She has 23 and 11, and even beating the Gyrocopter, who has 22 and 5. So I think that might have been part of that decision, knowing she could get a lot of that early farm against Tidehunter because she can push him back with power shot. But I can't be certain for that.
I think it was also Windrun was the other thing I was going to mention. You know, she can give herself some of that extra movement speed.
Absolutely agree.
The other thing that I'm seeing here is, you know, the Dire tri lane is great. They're really shutting down Jug, but Jug is a fairly good comeback hero. Oh, as we do see the first attempt at a kill there, Cenarius does manage to get the Blade Fury off, and it doesn't look like they're going to be getting a kill there.
Kind of a poor rocket barrage by that Gyrocopter.
Tut, Captain EYK. Tut. But the downside for this tri lane for me, in addition to just missing that possible kill attempt, is I've had a smoke on the line the entire time, and realistically, their OD needs support mid. Viper suffers if you shut him down, and OD really starts to excel if the supports help him get some kills in lane. Gold, XP, bit of a lead, that's all you need to give OD. And it does look like they're going to try and rotate that now, but it wasn't a bad choice not to do it before, I guess is what I'm saying. Gyro is very vulnerable. Admittedly, we don't have the biggest lockdown for him to be afraid of. He does have a fair lead now, but it's a bit of a risk associated here. And Digital Unicorn spotting out Sand King, drops the Spike there to get the stun. Howloon with plenty more stuns. There's a shackle going down. If one more hero gets close here, though, this Centaur is going to drop a stomp. Vikingos looking for the support pickups here, and with neither of these guys with much mana,
Viper's gonna have to just go.
I thought Vikingos was going to get some easy kills there, but chose not to pursue.
He could easily clean that up, yeah. I think they were just far enough away that he couldn't quite get to them.
I think he got greedy and decided. Maybe he was afraid of somebody else being waiting for him up on the high ground. But
possibly.
Really, he wanted the last hit on that Centaur. Fair enough. But one Q to slow one of them. He would have eaten an Earth Spike. But in terms of right clicks, I honestly think that was easy kills. Easy kills.
Absolutely.
I just realised actually, Viking has been giving me a lot of tips on how to play Viper recently, so this may sound like I'm just constantly slagging him off and disagreeing with everything. It's not. He's playing a very good Viper, really shutting down that OD. And doing something that he's always been telling me to do, and he is right, especially against a right clicker like OD, and that is making sure you've got plenty of points in that corrosive skin passive.
Absolutely.
Especially, I suppose, against a mana drainer like OD, you're not even going to be able to get many of those poison attacks off. I am wondering whether he might be regretting that second point in poison attack, given how rarely he can actually cast it, and maybe would have preferred another point in Nether Toxin. I'm not sure.
And I think he did that. I think maybe he even got felt victim to a little bit of trash talking, because he said poison me now. So he's like, I'll show you, I will poison you. And then he wants to
it'll hurt.
Get it off it.
It'll hurt.
Exactly, he wants it to hurt. Juggernaut's still struggling in this bottom lane. We see 43 last hits on the Gyrocopter, and that's what Gyrocopter is good at, is getting a lot of last hits early on. and with the only 17 on Juggernaut though, so he's getting outscaled. They're at the same level right now, so he's not too far behind in level.
Oh, and we're getting Gyrocopter diving behind the tower here. Does he have his ult? He doesn't. This might be a little bit bold. We get the Rocket Barrage down on Gothic though, along with the Hex from the Lion, but no Earth Spike yet. It's still on cooldown. We've got a TP in from the Wind Ranger. She's just looking for pickoffs. Easy kills on the Lion. One more right click and she gets it. And a kill on the Shadow Shaman as well. Gyrocopter finishes off Venge on the back lines, but a 2-for-1 trade, not so good for the Dire.
Not a great trade, but they did get Wind Ranger trying to be sneaky here. She gets the
nice shackle.
Shackle off. Good shackle, but yeah.
Good rotation in from side there. Gonna chase her off.
It was a interesting.
No stunning missile.
Has not picked up homing missile at all.
That was a very strange time to dive to me. Just because he was level 5 and it would have been such a useful time to have cooldown. Like maybe just hold the lane, keep it pushed for just a couple more waves, get the cooldown, then go.
Absolutely.
Stunning missile? I mean, to me what's strange, given what they're I could understand if they were going for a max damage build with, given that he's in a lane with a Lion and a Shadow Shaman. Perhaps that was the logic behind not going for his own stun. But not maxing out Rocket Barrage when you're going for that Shadow Shaman combo, that seems really strange to me. The Flat Cannon's more of a safe lane build where you're maxing farm and not trying to get kills, and you can't not get kills in an aggro try.
Absolutely, a little bit of an image strength. We looks like we have a dust going on around the Radiant side Ancients as well. So I don't know what I don't know if Lion and Shadow Shaman are trying to push in on Viking here with the OD. Lion wants to push in. Digital just trying. Oh, there it goes. They got it. Yep, they're gonna get this off here.
They get the Earth Spike. They do. Well timed there from Digital Unicorn. Unfortunately, Shadow Shaman a little bit too far back, but he is going to run into Viper. Going through the trees. The OD ult comes down for the finishing touch. Windrunner does pop Windrun, but can't get past that Hex, and there's the Shackle as well. One more right click from OD. Cone Wolf just misses the stun. And honestly, I think missing that stun might have saved his life, because Dire could have turned on him there.
Absolutely. Meanwhile,
up on top.
Getting tons of farm up top, pushing this tower a little bit. Not quite enough to get it down. Anything substantial.
Oh wow, and look at that fight recap and the damage output. It's about 100 or 200 from every hero there except for the OD, with 1,500 damage from those Arcane Orb and Sanity's Eclipse. That was nuts.
That OD ultimate, especially against strength and agility heroes like they've got, because it does more damage based on the difference in intelligence. Absolutely, yeah.
The Windrunner is the only person there who can really ignore that ult.
Yeah, he can just absolutely obliterate them if he wants to. And Viper might be out of position a little bit here, but I think he's gonna be fine. He's gonna play back.
Well, it depends what Howlung can get here. He's got Hex and Shackle. I think he's missed his opportunity. He should have run in a little bit earlier there and could have got it.
Viking gonna see something missing going wrong there and back off a little bit.
He does have Beauty in there for support. If they go for a dive, I think they'll be fine. Tidehunder finishing off Juggernaut down on the bot lane. I think that was probably Omni Slash. No, Omni Slash wasn't even used. That's surprising. Should not have allowed that to happen. iRock will be very happy with that kill. Puts him almost at his blink as well. Just about another 400 to go. Wind Ranger up on top. Finishes Gyro, but the rest of her aggression just gets nuked there. The Shadow Shaman ward's down as well, so Howlung not going to be able to just push down this top tower in Retribution. And also we've got True God now having a bit more of a fun time on the mid. He's got that Arcane Aura up. He's Arcane Orbing everyone. Gen Rune and a Midas in his inventory. This is a very happy time for him.
Oh yeah, he's gonna have a great. Once you can get a couple levels, 35 more intelligence. Wow, 35.
So that's 350 damage on a level 3 ult at this stage.
Top tower is under attack.
Which makes a lot of difference actually. But yeah, so once you get the arcane up, 100% of the time, it just OD becomes such a fun hero to play because you can roam and gank so much. Get 20 kills, and he's got a couple, I believe 2 levels on Viper right now. If Viper does choose to come back to mid, it looks like he's up against the Vengeful Spirit, who's only level 6, who he could just tear apart if he wanted to.
I mean, the other danger for Radiant is, like, Viper I don't think scales quite as well as OD. Like, he's definitely the early game hero, that's where he's valuable.
Oh, absolutely.
I'm not sure that Gyro scales as well as Jug, either. I mean, Jug does scale well. I feel bad saying that. I feel like Jug people everywhere are going to hate me, yourself included, but he just doesn't, not quite as well. He's got a crit. Jug has something that lets him hit everybody in a 1,000
Dyer's
radius all at
top
once.
tower is under siege.
I don't know.
I see. I tend to think Jug scales a little bit better than Gyrocopter.
Dyer's
Okay.
top tower is under attack.
I'm a little bit biased, but I've also seen some high-level Gyrocopter play where he just outscales everybody in the game and can be a late game, very very late game hard carry still.
Juggernaut play.
I'm sorry.
You mean Juggernaut play, not Gyrocopter play.
Gyrocopter
Right.
can be a late game hard.
Yeah,
I've seen Gyrocopter play as a late game hard carry, but I think Juggernaut has a natural inclination towards it a little bit more than Gyrocopter.
Well, we're definitely going to be seeing that matchup here.
Viking is going for a kill up top here online as well. He's gonna get it, and then the Shadow Shaman TP is gonna be just a little bit too late.
That's going to be really useful for him. He's got to get some kills up here
yeah.
if he wants to still be useful. And we see him going for the Null Talisman and a Staff of Wizardry. Vikingos, what are you doing, friend? What are you up to? Are we Dagoning? What are we building up to here? That's
Right now, I think only Viking knows.
Oh wait, sorry, I was clicking on the wrong hero. Derp. Derp. That was COD with that. Howlin getting finished off there with a nice swap from Victor and a stun.
Gonna pick up a kill on Haha now too as well. That's it.
That was big. Yeah, so sorry, that's OD who's got the Null Talisman for the points, the Staff of Wizardry going for 4 staff of course, and Viper who I apparently hadn't actually managed to click on with a Midas and building into a mech. I was like, Dagon Viper, really Vikingos, really, we're trying to get people to take the tournament seriously. Dagon Viper, come on man. Blink coming out on Sand King, that's pretty significant.
And has the Tidehunter picked up? Yep, Tidehunter already has his blink as well.
And they're rotating in on this bottom with Gyrocopter and Tide in the same lane. You know they're looking for that AoE combo. Cenarius going on the back lines here, possibly going to want to go for Digital Unicorn, but it's risky because there's a Ravage. He gets a Blade Fury off though. EYK does drop the cooldown, now going for the Rocket Barrage, and Cenarius just couldn't get out of there quickly enough, could not get away from that Lion. Gothic seems to be doing alright so far. Comewolf has come in, challenging the epicenter. Beautiful blink stun. Gets the Gyrocopter. They're chasing Tide out now, and Vikingos, exactly the hero you want for cleanup duty. Getting Orb Harass on both of these heroes to slow down both of them, but Irock gets out thanks to the OD's Astral Imprison. Vikingos, can he catch True God? That is the question. Redeem the mid. But no, that 4 staff is going to see him safe. Holy moly, big fights. And 9 for 8, that's Radiant not only catching up, but pushing themselves in the lead with a big gold lead and an even bigger XP change in their favor. And it was all down, I love saying this, all down to Comewolf on the Sand King there. That was a beautiful epicenter.
No, that was, yeah, excellent coordination there. The Sand King set that up perfectly, and everybody else kind of were able to just walk in and play off of that, and off the damage he created from that, and get those big kills. Juggernaut's going to be very aggressive against OD here mid, but I don't know how well it's going to work when he's 2 levels down, almost 3.
What he needs is like 1 more point in Omni Slash, and for True God to be just a little bit lower health. I'm gonna make a run for this regen room, but Astral Imprison just makes rune competing really easy.
Absolutely. And he can go for the Ancients instead.
Viking Oath caught out in the Radiant Jungle though, Hex from the Lion. We're going to see a beautiful switch come out of Gothic though. And Viking Oath is not abandoning his teammate, coming in and trying to help, dropping the slows. Going to actually get the kill on Howloon here, I think. And the Serpent Wards, I would say, wasted there. They're not going to be able to get them the Viking Oath kill, although this OD might. Rocking in here, gets a nice 4 staff through the trees, draws 1 his ult, and 1 more right click is all they need. Well, I guess those were worthwhile wards, as every point of damage on that Viper was very important. And the Venge as well, finished off by the Tidehunter on the back lines.
Dyer's middle tower is under siege.
Oh yeah, so see the wards I think were a little bit of a desperation move as he was dying, trying to get some extra damage on there. But it ended up working out for him because they were able to get the Viper kill because of that. As OD barely got in last second, it was able to force staff in and take him out. And they're going to get the first tower kill of the game with that as well.
Digital Unicorn should have followed his gut there. He was saying Sand King's in here, kind of went in the trees a little bit, and then backed out again before he fully explored all the corners. And they could have got an easy kill there. Meanwhile, though, Beauty with Focus Fire going to go to work on this mid. Phase Boots Maelstrom up. I really like that build on Windrunners. I think that's the best way to take advantage of the max speed from Focus Fire early enough in the game for her to be peaking while other people aren't.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
She now has 58 more intelligence than Viper. I think we're getting less stats and more the OD fan club this game, but that's okay. I love OD. It's all just a question of how many more. And of course, this is all. As soon as OD gets a couple of Astral Imprisons on the Viper, which he'll hopefully try and start any engagement by doing, that will be a significant increase.
Oh, absolutely.
So what's that? Stealing 13 damage. So that actually increases the damage of the ult by 260 for every stack that it's on a hero. Oh, Guardian Cenarius was hoping for more bounces there. Digital Unicorn caught out a little bit far here, but maybe saved by iRock, who gets a beautiful not only Ravage, but also Anchor Smash. His team coming in here to try and help settle up. But Cenarius gets out on the back lines. Beauty picking off Dire heroes on their way out, and a nice swap from Gothic is going to get them another kill. And that is 4 for nothing for Radiant.
Not a good trade for the Radiant there.
True, desperately trying to get out here. Nice juking and force staffing. I think he's going to make it, unless Cone can get a really nice blink in 2 seconds. Oh wow, that was too early for the...
Oh, he blinked too far.
Oh, Cone! Cone, buddy, that was unfortunate. I thought he had vision. It must have been just behind the tree. I thought he had vision and he'd just go for the stun. But he obviously didn't, and he blinked and he missed the TP. Oh my gosh. Well played, True.
Right as Windrunner gave him vision. Wind Ranger, apologize.
No, Windrunner's fine. Believe me. Windrunner is more acceptable than that other travesty. So let's have a quick look at the items we've got out on these teams. Mask and Bandits on Jug. Looks like he's building into a Yasha, and he'll have that up fairly soon. I'll be interested to know, as we see him going for maxing the Blade Dance passive, what exactly his plan is for this Jug. Because, you know, if it goes into a Sanjin Yasha, we're seeing an early game fight. If it goes into a Manta, we're seeing an early game push. And that crit chance, that to me is about the only strange Jug build you could go. I don't know, max crit chance rather than the... I don't know.
I don't know why that was his first max. I understand, you know, Healing Ward, he's pushing that off, that makes a lot of sense. It makes more sense to me, they had a very early game build, which means you go Blade Fury very early. He's using it purely as an escape tactic, I think. And he's hoping to get attack speed built in there. That's why he has a lot of the crits, I think. Going for Sanjin Yasha, he's got the Mask of Madness to get a little bit of the lifesteal in there. He's going for almost seems like a later game build with a 20-minute Sanjin Yasha. Yeah,
that's what it smells like to me. Because of course, a lot of the early points, it's not like he maxed Blade Dance in the beginning in the lane. He got 1 point in Blade Fury, I think 1 point in Healing Ward, and then stats. And this Blade Dance has come out on his way to level 11. But yeah, I don't know. It's just seems like a bit of a strange choice. Like, I would have thought that if you were ever going to have a safe lane try Juggernaut who really needed early points in Blade Fury and Healing Ward, it would have been this game. And he was really stressed out. He's still the lowest core in the game other than Tidehunter, behind everybody else on his team, and he's meant to be the late game farmer. It's scary stuff. Gyro. Put it this way: we were saying earlier about how Gyro versus Jug and who scales better. If one of them gets a lot more farm, that one's going to win.
That person definitely probably scaled better.
Yeah, that's going to be a telling edge.
My money on. Yeah, but Juggernaut behind both Viper and Windrunner here.
Yeah.
It's a little bit surprising. We see some de-warding coming out from the Radiant here. In the mid, so they're gonna win that little ward battle. But everybody kind of dispersed now. They had their big team fight. Now they're going to get some farm in the jungle. So this might be Juggernaut's chance to catch up.
I'm just looking at the rest of his team as well. So we got the Wind Ranger now building into an Ags. After that, Mjolnir with the Ogre Club and the point booster. We'll have Viper, who's got his mech finished and still has that Hand of Midas. Greedy Viking Viper. I'm interested to see what that comes out to. As Howloon gets swapped, there's a stun, there's all the stuns, and that's a Dead Shadow Shaman. And I think a tier 1 bot as well. But items on the Dire, we've got the Force Staff and the BKB now up on the OD. Blink and Force Staff as well, finished but not assembled on the Tidehunter. And Helm of the Dominator out on Gyrocopter. Now, at what point does he turn that into a Satanic? How early exactly?
That is a great question. I'm actually not sure how long he will hold on to that. I'm interested to see what he's going to do with it in the meantime, though, because I've seen a lot of people use his Helm of the Dominator in interesting ways to set himself up for a lot of big stack on the Ancients. You dominate that creep and have him just pull while you micro it. So that might be a pull for that, and go for a much later Satanic, because you can help build in yourself with that over time and build up into that.
Oh, and they are chasing this OD up on top lane. True God possibly in a little bit of trouble here. BKB is popped and they don't have a
Dire's middle
they don't have something that can
tower
go through it. Yes, they do. They have Omni Slash,
Bad news for you fans.
Omni Slash.
Omni Slash.
Carrying a mini stun.
Oh, that might have been RNG's just helping him out a little bit.
I don't think so. Like Omni Slash, I think if I'm right, does actually have a mini
Radiant's
stun in it when
top
it's cast.
tower has been
So that would have
destroyed.
which goes through BKB.
It does.
David, if you could check that out, does Omni Slash have a mini stun that can cancel teleports? How, or did True just mess up there and cancel the
Radiant's
teleport
middle tower is being attacked.
for no reason?
Sorry.
I'm just saying, David, you can check it up on Dota Wiki or something. Gracias, amigo. As we've got Radiant looking to push down this the first Omni Slash hit as a mini stun.
Okay.
So no, well played there from Cenarius. I would have hesitated there and been like, wait, does it have a mini stun? And then not done it. And True would have gotten out, and I would have felt bad.
Exactly. So good for him for knowing his character.
Yeah.
And
Vikingos gets caught out. There's a cooldown. There's a shackles. There's a finger. Digital Unicorn actually going to end up going down to the Viper Toxins on the back line. But another beautiful epi from the Sand King is going to wreck the Dire team here. Most of them getting out though. True God still on full mana, still a little bit dangerous. EYK the same, but with his ult gone. Doesn't look like Radiant are confident that they can pressure this tower too much. And I think they're wrong. Yeah, I hope they go back in here, because this tower's mincemeat.
Yeah, this tower, I don't think they realize that the Dire is pushed in the middle. They're going to see with this line of creeps here with Juggernaut mid. But Dire wants to kill Juggernaut. They don't care about that tower right now.
And still no stun on the gyro. I think that's very strange. I would have thought you'd have 1 point for situations like they just had on mid. They could have gotten their Juggernaut kill.
Tower is under attack.
He finally put, yeah, as
You're
you're saying that,
allowed
he
to
puts a
start
point in a
trying
homing
now.
missile.
Yeah, he did it kind of
Structures have
mid
been
the fight,
fortified.
just as
Okay.
Juggernaut was going out of range. And I think maybe with a feeling of regret that he didn't have it a little bit earlier.
Sometimes that's all it takes, is just one missed call.
As we see Cenarius popping the healing ward and going for the solo Roche. I think he's got it. He's going for the Manta. So David, he popped up a stat earlier that Manta had much better win rate than the Sanjin Yasha advancement for the Yasha. And looks like Pub Dota is going to be happy with Cenarius' Juggernaut. He also can afford that Manta Star right now, so he's either saving for buyback. It might be a little bit early for that, I think. I think he could get away with rushing that Manta and going for early aggression.
Yeah, I think he's gonna have to go for the Manta over the buyback for now.
That is going to be a quick and early Roche. Gyro possibly going to look to nope. Just going to farm the Ancients.
Radiant's middle tower has been denied.
Nicely played there from Comwolf on the Sand King again. I've got to say, for someone who's doing a really good Sand King, I don't often see Comwolf play Sand King.
I missed what you said. Say it one more time.
Sorry, I don't often see Comwolf play Sand King, and he's doing a stellar job.
Doing a very good job. Yeah, Sand King is doing just really good in those team fights, helping to. He's initiating. He's putting up really good epicenters. Hasn't gotten any points in the Caustic Finale yet, so he's doing a very, very hard support Sand King right now, and doing a great job of initiating and being just that enough damage, just enough of this, initiating with Burrow Strike, getting the good epicenters in there. He has his Blink Dagger, so helping with that and doing a really good job on that Sand King right now.
I mean, I think the Caustic Finale definitely the tertiary skill for a Sand King, because what he has been doing is that beautiful ability Sand King has to just farm the jungle. As we do see the homing missile maybe proving its worth in weight as gold here as they get close to Vikingos. They don't want to imprison him, they're just going to nuke him down. They get the cooldown slow. And OD! What a wasted ult. My gosh.
I think he wanted to seal the deal with that one.
I think he wanted to steal the deal with that one. If we're being honest here, that was so unnecessary. Howloon there caught out by Comwolf again. I'm just going to keep saying that. Gothic as well with a follow-up swap and the stun. They get the Wave of Terror down. They get the brief shackle shot. They get so many abilities used, and they finally get down Howloon.
That was a great power shot by Beauty.
It was. They're playing really well, and they get the D-Ward control. The Yules on Sand King, zero times on Sand King in professional Dota. I find that strange.
Interesting.
I find that very, very strange. Has Sand King been played? Like I'd almost find it more normal if Sand King had just never been played, and that's why there were no results. Yeah, this patch I know, but this is the Yules patch, man. Sand King can rock a Yules. It's also a very nice pickup for this game in particular, because it's another way to get a hero or himself out of the Omni Slash. If they, that's a really hard ability to get away from. There's a bit of RNGesus, there's a bit of just being devastating, there's a bit of Jug being totally immune to damage. But if he's just going on you, you just Yules. And he's wasted his ult. He'll probably still kill you, but maybe not. Tide can rotate, maybe. Who knows?
Absolutely.
Howlin there getting out just in time.
Gyrocopter's picked up his Demon Edge, so he might be going into... I hope it's not a Rapier already, but I'm thinking Daedalus on that Gyrocopter before he goes into his Satanic. An interesting choice to go to the Demon Edge first.
I also just noticed something on the Juggernaut, which makes me think we've been, as he finishes offline, which makes me think we've been misjudging him slightly. And that is, he picked up the Asher, he picked up the Ultimate Orb, but I now see another Ultimate Orb just sitting in his stash. So he is going straight for the Skadi. We still do not know of what pedigree this Yasha is. Is it a Sanjin Yasha or is it a Manta Yasha? We don't know, but that Skadi is dangerously close to completion. He's within, what,
absolutely.
500 gold? Yeah, 500 gold or so.
Very close. Yeah, he's got 1,100 gold stored up. So one more team fight going that direction, and he's gonna have it.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's almost one more creep wave. I mean, he's got the money for the what's it called? The pink thing. He's got the money for the pink thing. He just needs the Orb of Venom. Point booster.
Yeah,
Bloody
Dire's
point
bottom
boosters.
tower is under attack.
Secret shot for that. Oh.
And Dire wisely, I think, choosing to defend the high ground here.
Radiant's top tower
They
is
won.
being attacked.
The only defense they can make,
Dire's
55%
bottom
of programs
tower
has a
is being
58% win rate.
Wow.
Yours too
Dire's
strong.
bottom tower has fallen. Radiant's top tower is
Now, I
under
like this.
siege.
Dire, I think, made the right choice here in just choosing to defend the high ground, because it all comes down to getting Ravage and cooldown right for them. And then, ideally, Sanity's Eclipse on top of it, and they can easier do that at a high ground. It's not worth trying to force it at a tier 2. But then Radiant's taking advantage of that, getting the tier 2 and backing straight out.
Yeah,
So-
smart move by Radiant.
Yeah, they get that gold. Dire are only just now rotating back out into their jungle and getting their farming back on. That hurt.
Absolutely. And Radiant needs that time to farm Juggernaut because he's still behind Viper and Wind Ranger on last hits. He's catching up. He's catching up much more than he was before, but he's still a little bit down.
Well, this
even
is
in
a point, I
net worth-
think, where we switch it over to the net worth chart and we maybe get a little bit of a surprise. He is way behind his
He's
own
12.
cause. Not too far
Dire's
behind Wind
middle
Ranger, but
tower
he's
is being
ahead of most
attacked.
of the Dire heroes now.
Yeah, he's ahead of that. He's ahead of that Gyrocopter, which is important. He's about 2,000 behind,
Dire's
2,800
middle tower
behind
is under
DoD,
siege.
which isn't going to matter so much late game as it will, but in the mid game right about now. But as long as he stays ahead of that Gyrocopter, he's doing all right.
Dire's middle tower has
And then
fallen.
Dire's still losing time here. They're trying to defend high ground. He's waiting
Again.
for Radiant to push in.
Again, choosing not to engage the defender tier 2, but I'm not sure if it's wise. If they keep playing like this, Radiant are just going to farm for the next 2 minutes, then take Roche, and then push.
Oh, absolutely. And Juggernaut, did he purchase? I don't think he purchased that point boost unless it's on the courier.
It'll be on the courier. He's just waiting for a... Oh, it's not. No, it's Dire courier.
Oh, it is on the
Radiant
courier. It is on
courier.
the courier.
Yeah, he's got all of his stuff now, and a vitality
Exactly,
booster coming
Venom
out
as well.
for Vikingos. I can only imagine that Courier's running back to pick up the heart recipe. This is a tanky Viper, and that's a very, very smart build for him. The only other arguable potential tank on the team is Wind Ranger when she wind runs, which is not very reliable against a magic heavy team, and Juggernaut,
Yeah,
who you'd
absolutely.
much rather be building as a nuker. So I think this game, without a Centaur or any other kind of real tank, Heart Viper makes sense. I like it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, they need that tankiness on the Viper, and you kind of saw that coming when especially when you built in corrosive skin first thing.
Well, the stats don't support him, but maybe those were all games when he shouldn't have. I like the choice on Vikingos, but the 40% win rate is enough to
Scotty's
give
coming
anyone
out.
pause.
Scotty's coming out, and Viper's gonna pick up his heart at the same time. So they have two big items in the heart and the Scotty coming out for the Radiant team right now.
At the same time, though, Scythe of Vice picked up on OD, and that's an equally big one.
Oh, absolutely.
Actually, especially against a team like this, who are... Yeah, this is an interesting one. Because a lot of what the Radiant tries to do, kind of, it blends in with each other. They're all fairly effective, but it's very much about supporting each other with the stuns, getting the mobility up on the Sand King. And And suddenly having someone hexed in the middle of a fight, even if it's not one of the cores, could be devastating if it's, for example, Sanking during his channel, Vengeful before she can get a swap off, and we've got a DD Focus Fire Wind Ranger here. This is one of the highest damage outputs in the game. Like 4 attacks a second, each hitting out at 200 damage.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So that's 800 damage a second if she can just get the space to focus. Fire, that is.
Radiant's bottom tower is being attacked. But just
I don't
continue
think
doing whatever it was
Dire's
you
just
were
kind of
doing.
biding their time, waiting for Radiant to push in and kill that tower, and they can't even defend it now.
Scotty has a
It's like
66 win rate this patch. I think that's probably a biased statistic because I think in most of those games both teams had a Scotty, but I'm not sure. Guardian Cenarius gets diving too deep here, and the Ravage catches him out as well as Vikingos, and this is going to be 2 big cores going down. No, it isn't, with a beautiful swap there from Victor. Vikingos drops his ult there to slow down the gyro, but it's not going to be enough to save Sanking. And 3 for a tier 3. They didn't get any kills. Oh, they did get the Sanking actually, who brought back. But they didn't win the team fight. They got a tier 3 down.
MKB comes out in the gyrocopter after that, so that's what he was building into. And Roshan should be respawning, yeah, about 10 seconds ago. So I think Dire's gonna push down and see if they can get this Roche kill after they just won that fight. They're gonna ward up, cover their backs, and they should be able to take this uncontested.
Regeneration.
Indeed, indeed. I think they're aware of it. I think there's knowledge. It's just there's nothing they can do. It's going to go down so fast as he takes the shackle to the face. Poor Roshan. And only now does Gyrocopter join the fight. I mean, that's when you take it that fast without your position. One, you've got to be happy, and also with no hero who's particularly good at Roshan. I mean, Tide, Shadow, Lion, OD, they're all okay, but no great Roche takers.
OD. Yeah,
Sure,
OD
possibly.
not terrible.
Possibly being a little bit aggressive here. Wants to get all this
The
Radiant
Gyrocopter
farm.
might get caught up by this Viper. Oh, he's gonna get
Quick
stun.
TP,
Oh,
and they get the stun off from
good
Como.
blinking and stun by that Sanking.
Technically,
To kill.
as we just learned, they didn't need the blink stun from the Sand King because Omni Slash stuns it.
The mini stun.
But no, I certainly don't blame Cone for going for that. If I actually kind of blame Cenarius. He didn't need to use the Omni Slash there with the Sand King stun coming in and his whole team, and it would be really useful to have that off cooldown right now. But I think they'll get racks anyway.
Yeah, they should be able to take out both racks here.
Melee down, range down, and they rotate top away from that OD. I'm not sure if they'd actually spotted him out or whether that was just a good guess, but it could be very telling here.
Absolutely.
Focus fire used again. This tier 3 is not going to last much longer. The cooldown is used.
Call down. Not a lot of damage coming from that.
Cenarius wants to go for a tier 3 here, swapped out by Victor, who pays for it with the finger. Vikingos gets a stun down. Cone Wolf making space, and Vikingos actually choosing to re-engage off that. Gets the Tidehunter kill, eats the OD ult, wants a couple more right clicks, but he's not going to get True God.
He's gonna get caught.
Vikingos only being kept alive right now by the shackle, and another beautiful stun from Cone Wolf. The missile is hunting Viking though. He's got to be careful, but maybe getting that missile up was a little bit too much for EYK. He's brought low. Cenarius is back out. Howloon goes for the ward trap, gets a shackle, but interrupted by a beautiful Sand King stun again. I've said that like 5 times this fight alone. Vikingos kinda low here, but he does manage to get the final kill on the gyrocopter and the courier with a 2050 cargo worth. That is quite a blow there for Dire. And the really scary thing with a Hex on the Wind Ranger and a shackle on Viking, I think Shadow Shaman had a good idea there, but maybe hoping his wards to be a bit more damaging than they actually are.
Oh, Cenarius getting a little bit aggressive against this
Dire's
Tidehunter.
top
But
barracks is being
good job
attacked.
for the Radiant there recovering after that. They thought they lost the fight. Re-engagement from the Viper. He's so tanky, he's able to just come re-engage and get them some footing in the fight again, so they can go on and turn that against a 2-1 loss for them.
Yeah, they're going to take the top racks as well. Bot lane is being pushed out by the creeps.
Lion's gonna go down here.
Lion gets a Juggernaut gets an ornament. Awesome Omni Slash off. Couple more right clicks and he might be able to finish True.
Eat that HP.
That is just the Aegis though. They're going to need to kill him twice. Viking with nothing, but True with a BKB down, I think. Let's have a look. Yeah, the BKB, 51 seconds remaining. 20 seconds on his 4-stuff. He gets a 4-stuff from someone else. Oh no, that was his side of Vice that was still on cooldown. Well, 20 seconds on the side of Vice, but he's right-clicking the Vengeful Spirit. She's down. Chasing now, IROC looking for a pick off here on Vikingos. Looking for someone. The right clicks are coming down. There's a Veil of Discord used there. Cone Wolf going for a beautiful pick off on True God here. I don't know if he's got quite enough damage, but he gets him hugely low, and Viking is there to support. He wishes right now that he had a full staff. Gets hexed there by Howloon. And Gyrocopter used up to prevent the damage from the Viper ult. Pops his BKB, but not happy going up against that Viper. And this is just... This is crazy. This is crazy. I'm pretty sure this is GG for the Radiant by now. And I think that puts Cenarius one win away from taking the whole King of the Hill tournament. But Dire are fighting this. And this is a Gyrocopter. There could very well be a turnaround here if they can just get one big team fight and get some key items on Gyro.
God is the true person alive right now, and he's gonna just not be able to do enough.
He does manage to clear a huge number of heroes there, gets 2 big kills, but then finished off. Buys back and coming out again to try and chase him out of the high ground. I think get an extra pick off. Latest salve purchase 38 minutes into the game. It's midders, man. Midders love their salves. It's a problem. They go to meetings.
They go to meetings. Yeah. These creeps from the Radiant side are probably gonna be too much for the Dire, and they're gonna have to spend all their time defending. As Radiant sort of takes their time coming back in, except for Windrunner, who jumps right in and wants to kill True.
There's a nice stun coming down there from Digital Unicorn and a good kill there on Beauty. Too aggressive, I think, is a if that's a fair analysis there of that Wind Ranger. And 96 seconds. That, of course, that was a buyback Wind Ranger as well.
Yeah, she doesn't have buyback yet.
I think that was it was a bit of a rage play there. I think.
Mm-hmm.
Who's playing it? Who am I slagging off when I say this? I'm slagging off Beauty. Okay, sorry Beauty, but I think it was a bit of a rage play. Bought back, presumably thinking there was going to be a fight. There wasn't a fight. Realized she couldn't farm creeps, and then just wanted to get a hero kill so that she could feel the buyback was worth it. And
Absolutely.
it didn't happen.
Yeah.
And we do have Invis Vikingos drops his ult on IROC, doing huge damage. That's what a Divine Rapier will do for you.
Oh, he does have the Divine.
Teams have come back from 2x deficit more times in the last 2 patches than the rest of professional Dota history combined.
Oh.
That is a very interesting statistic, very important for this game, particularly with that Rapier pickup on Vikingos. But here's my question for you, David E. Is that a good thing for the world of Dota? Do we want people to be coming back more and more and more from 2 racks deficits?
I like it.
Makes the game fun?
I like the idea of coming back. I mean, you have to think that when they're coming back, it's not just happening from nothing. It's happening out of strategic play. And a game where there's no such thing as a too far behind it sounds like a good game to me.
Don't give me that, David E. Yeah, I absolutely agree with you, Will. It's I think it could go too far. I think there was a point around the 6.8 patches where they were changing all the buyback. One moment here, as the last racks are going down, the tier 3's off. Sankin getting a nice initiation again onto True God. He seems to be focusing True God. That might just be me. The Viper ult is down on EYK. Nice Ravage there from IROC. Does catch 2. Nice use there is going to get the Sanking away from the cooldown, I think. Unfortunately, it's not enough. He's finished off. Gyro's down. Is that a refresher out on... nope, just hasn't been used yet. Super Priest need a buff, nearly 0 gold bounty. Interesting. Interesting. And that's the team wipe for Radiant there. I think 0 gold on Super Creeps would be a bit much. And are you talking about 3 racked Super Creeps, or are you talking about just 1 lane of racks down Super Creeps?
Me?
I love doing this to David, forcing him to talk when he's just a statsman. But yeah, he'll rage at me for that.
Going in for the kill.
Yeah.
GG.
GG is called. Well played.
We didn't see what that Yasha was going to become. We just saw it as a Yasha at the end of the game. We'll never know.
Legit Yasha is legit, man. Well, any final thoughts on that one, Will?
No, I thought Sand King did an excellent job initiating. I think that was a big part of his team fight, was being able to stun in, pop his epicenter, and set up the kills for the rest of the team. Excellent play by Viking to come back from a little bit of a deficit against the OD, and then I'm a little bit depressed about not knowing what the Yasha was going to become, but I'll get over it.
Yeah, that'll keep you up at night. Um, so yeah, many thanks to everybody who tuned in. We will have more coming up very, very shortly with a new lobby, and this will officially be match point in a way. If Cenarius wins the next game, he will have won King of the Hill 4 with a 10-point lead. So yeah, please do stay tuned. I'm going to pop the Be Right Back screen up now. That's the Twitch link there, and see you guys soon. Thank you very much, Will and Davidi.
Absolutely.